Hello, Galaxy! I'm Chris Pirillo, and I've not yet seen Rogue One, the new Star Wars movie. If you're not aware that Rogue One is a Star Wars film that chronologically takes place before, not Rogue 2, because there's never going to be a Rogue 2, because there's kind of already a Rogue 2. Star Wars A New Hope. Rogue One is set to take place right before A New Hope, the original Star Wars movie. Star Wars. The movie that I saw 2 weeks after its initial release, before it was known as A New Hope. I'm that old. I am older than Star Wars. I just wrapped up a video where I was giving a few gift ideas, Rogue One gift ideas, like if you've got a Star Wars fan that you're looking to help celebrate the holidays with. I've got a few ideas for you. That's in a separate video. That's the reason the AT-ACT is behind me. Spoiler alert, that's one of my suggestions. In terms of my expectations, though, and people have been asking for many months, I'm excited. There's no doubt in my mind that this is going to meet my expectations because I'm walking into this, sitting into this. I don't know if I'm really going to be... I am. I might run into it, and then I'll sit down and watch it. True story, though. The Force Awakens, I hyperventilated. I'm not joking. I actually almost passed out. I had to get up and go get some water at the theater because I was afraid I was going to pass out. I couldn't catch my breath. I was so excited. That's how excited. That's legitimate excitement. Yeah, true story. So I hope not to pass out. That is one of my expectations, not to pass out. But the thing is I don't walk into these things just thinking, oh, they're going to be amazing, because I already know that I'm just going to enjoy it. And I always attenuate my excitement by realizing I just need to just live in the moment. Just experience it. Just take it in. And feel like I'm watching a Star Wars story, which is really what it is, right? Is there any moment that's going to, capture that Star Warsiness for me? I don't know. I really don't. Of course, I know as much as they've put out there, and I don't want to share too much because I don't know a lot, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody else. We know that Darth Vader is coming back. I doubt he's going to be there or as present as others, because he would certainly own the attention in the film if he's overplayed. The Death Star, of course, is kind of making its debut. It's really Jedi's crying. I don't know if you can hear her in the background. She just learned that she's a little too young for Rogue One, because as I understand it, it may be a little dark and or very warsy. So it may very well be the warsiest Star Wars we've ever seen. That excites me. I'm fascinated by it. But that doesn't make a Star Wars film for me either. I just like feeling like I'm there again. I'm in that galaxy. Like I'm seeing stormtroopers, Imperial stormtroopers that we haven't seen on screen since Return of the Jedi, quite honestly, or at least in this capacity. When I see Star Wars, it reminds me of so much happiness as a child, because when we played make-believe or you used our imagination and played around, we rode our bikes down the streets, but we were flying speeder bikes, right? And when we played role playing or make-believe, I was always Han Solo, and friends around the neighborhood, they were their favorite characters, and we played that way, right? Because we couldn't rewatch the films over and over and over again. We just didn't have that technology back then. So my expectation is that I'm going to be lost in not lost by the plot, lost in that world, and melting into this as the story unfolds. And I think that is it's a very compelling experience. I don't really like having expectations up here. So you might think that would be the case, but it wasn't the case for The Force Awakens. That's why I was very happy. I was like, yeah, it was everything I could have ever hoped it to be. I don't think they could have done better. I expect the same for Rogue One. I expect that it's going to be a Star Wars film. That's it. Period. That's it. It's going to be a Star Wars story. That's all I'm looking for. That's all I want from it. And it's not even a bar. It's just like, it is a Star Wars story, so to me, it's already a win. Cannot wait for it. Can't wait to see how everything kind of evolves. characters, plot, just everything, really, just kind of coming together and coalescing around the idea of this is how things happened. It's very exciting for me to be at this point in my life as an adult and being able to revel in things that I thought were over. As Return of the Jedi wound down, Star Wars kind of disappeared. And it was very sad. It was a very dark time in my life until the Phantom Menace rolled around. And suddenly Star Wars was back, and we had those movies. Then we had the Clone Wars. Now we're kind of in the midst of Rebels, another cartoon series, which I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be picking up soon, if only because there are a couple of characters, or at least one character that I know of in Rogue One that actually had a role in a cartoon form. A different voice actor, Saw Gerrera, is actually a part of a Clone Wars arc. So, something you may want to look into. If it's Star Wars, I'm interested. I'm fascinated. I'm happy. Even with maybe stories that I haven't been thrilled about, like the Princess Leia comic arc, or maybe the Chewbacca comic arc. It wasn't like, wow, this is amazing compared to, let's say, Lando, which I really, really, really liked. Or maybe Darth Vader, which I wasn't necessarily as happy about as other people were, but I still enjoyed them. I feel like that, just made me happier than I would have been otherwise, just knowing that. And that's really my expectations with Star Wars Rogue One. I don't know. I don't want to know. I really don't. It's not my thing. I don't want to be disappointed. So I'm walking into this with open eyes and open heart, and I'm there to enjoy it. Very rarely will a movie pull me out of enjoying it. There's really only one instance that I can remember, and it was a sci-fi film. And I've probably told this story a few times over. I don't think Star Wars is going that way, if only because Star Wars is fantasy. It's not sci-fi. I mean, it's just not real. It's never in any aspect, in any way, shape, or form, scientific outright. Say compared to other films or franchises. It was Independence Day, and I was with them all the way through the point where they said, I made a virus on my Macintosh, and we're going to upload it to the alien mothership. I'm like, dude, really? I'm like, my friends had to hold me down. I almost walked out. I'm like, are you kidding me? Back then, you couldn't even get a Mac to talk to a PC, let alone to an alien mothership. That was it. Because it took me out of the movie. It was like, okay, dude, it's so no. It can't. It's based on Earth. It's just no. I could not accept it. To this day, I roll my eyes. Now, that being said, I watched, they sent movies. I did a holiday movie guide the other day, and I finally had a chance to watch the Independence Day Resurgence? I can't remember the subtitle. Independence Day 2. I watched it. I liked it. It was a little campy, but I kind of like that. I like campy. It doesn't bother me. It's not my fandom, right? I enjoyed Independence Day 2. Probably more than the first one. It's not very often that happens. I think in history, the only time I've ever enjoyed a sequel more than the first one was Hot Shots Part 2. Hot Shots Part 2 totally beat the first Hot Shots movie. And if you've never seen Hot Shots, man, you did not grow up in the 80s. Yeah, it can happen. It can happen. I'm waiting. With bated breath. I love that we're going to see new Star Wars stuff indefinitely, and I hope I live a long life, and that every year that I live, I get a new Star Wars movie, or a new Star Wars show, or a cartoon, or something new Star Wars that I can love and appreciate as much as I did the stories as a kid. I don't have lofty expectations. I really don't. I mean, you could throw a movie at me and say, this movie rated horribly, and I'd love it. If I enjoyed it. If I just melt away into the experience, whatever it is. God, I've loved so many movies that have not been graded well, or, get, horrible scores from reviewers. I'm not a reviewer. I'm a Star Wars fan. Just give me a good movie. What does that mean? Don't suck. And I don't think it will. I don't feel it's going to be bad, because I just can't imagine a bad one. I can't. And I've already said my piece about the prequels. So I don't want to go into that. This is not a prequel. I don't think Disney would be happy in marketing in that way either. Prequels have their place. I'll say that. The prequels have their place. I appreciated them differently when I saw them through my wife's eyes, seeing Star Wars for the first time on her part. And certainly we'll see them differently in seeing the prequels and the original movies and everything through my daughter Jedi's eyes for the first time. I mean, she's seen bits and pieces, but I don't know if she's added 2 and 2 yet. I don't think so. Yeah, I'm happy to share that passion and that interest that's been a lifelong passion and interest that is just as strong today as it was when I was a kid watching these the original movies in the theaters for the first time, and being lucky or blessed enough to be able to see them over and over again on demand at this point in my life. So that's all I wanted to say. My expectations, everybody's got different expectations. There's no wrong way to expect something. I've yet to be disappointed, but I keep an open mind. Very happy that we've got a new Star Wars film. Very happy. Stay tuned to the story behind how I got to see Rogue One for the first time. I haven't seen it yet, but there are some exciting plans around that. And trust me, it is a story. It is going to be as much of a story as seeing Rogue One for the first time. That may not make sense now, but it will after you hear what's going on. When I finish the sentence and get over that word, when you find out, you're going to be in disbelief, because I'm still kind of in disbelief as to how it's going to play out. That's really all I had to say. What are your thoughts? Happy to see them, happy to share them. You can find me floating throughout social. I plan on doing a hell of a lot more Star Wars videos in the coming days, weeks, months, years, because really it's the topic that just never gets old. And Star Wars, I'm older than Star Wars. So that's it. It's Star Wars for life, man. It's not just a movie. It's a lifestyle. That's the way I say it. It's the way I see it, too. That's really all I have to say, except for maybe one more thing, and may the Force be with you.